Good morning, everybody. Hey, welcome to the middle of the week, Wednesday, April 8th. And so yesterday, we're going to talk about yesterday. Yesterday was quite the day as we lost a lot of steam yesterday. And so that will be one of the big things we talk about with Dave today is what the deal was there and what really caused that to happen, if we know it all. So, but folks, let me just remind you as we get ready to start today that, it's never too late to get a second opinion and to make sure that you don't have too much risk in your current portfolio. And that's what we're here for, is to help make sure that you're on the right track to your retirement. If you're in that danger zone, it's vitally important that you make sure you don't have too much risk in your current portfolio. Give us a call. Let us help you walk through that process to make sure you don't have too much risk. 863-382-0037. Hey, hang tight. We will be talking to Dave here when we start back up.
Williams, morning. Two Buenos Dias, y'all. It's 8:40, 20 before 9. Let's check in and find out what's going on in the marketplace and find out where Wall Street's going, at least this time of the morning. And boy, can things change. Phillip Statler's on the line from Statler Financial Services in downtown Sebring. Phillip, anybody that ever rolled out of bed and slipped onto the floor by mistake has an idea what falling out of bed feels like. Yesterday was kind of like falling out of the top bunk of a bed, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, we started out gangbusters yesterday, Dave. I mean, the markets were sky high, feeling from the Monday bolt, and it was going to continue to move forward. Everybody was excited about what the market was doing. By the end of the day, we had gone from green, huge green numbers, to a little bit of red. As a matter of fact, Dave, I think it was the biggest one-day slide from positive to negative. I think they said since October 7th of 1987.
Good Lord. And anybody that was around and invested in 1987 remembers that day, because a lot of people lost a running ton of money on paper during that panic, even worse than during the Great Recession, huh?
Yeah, I guess as far as a one day, from being up so high, not necessarily a point drop, but from being up so high to falling to negative. Yeah, the biggest point drop in a single day.
Crapola, darn near 1,000 points it was. And I noticed that while we were all bright and shiny yesterday morning, we start out this morning with the Standard & Poor's less than 20 points away from that ultimate test bottom that we've talked about for the last week or so. And the reasoning best any of us could figure out was just everybody looked at the death toll and the coronavirus numbers and the numbers of new cases, and basically gravity took over. There really wasn't a news item that prompted the give back, was there?
No, there really wasn't. I mean, I didn't see anything in any of the reports that gave any indication that we should be falling like a rock. But I think that traders started really just looking at what was happening with the coronavirus numbers and decided maybe they had taken a little bigger pause than what they anticipated at the very beginning, because we saw numbers falling, and so I think that gave them a false sense of optimism.
Yeah, it wasn't like a rock. It was just a pretty much gradual decline through the day. A couple of vertical drops of minor import, but it was just all day long. We started out high and kind of sort of went down low for the bulk of the day. It was not pretty. Now we're faced with two macro things that are going to come out over the next 24 hours or so that may affect the market for good or ill. We don't know. One of them was right after the Federal Reserve cut interest rates all the way down to zero. Then the Open Market Committee met, the people that have the actual vote on interest rates, and I gather their minutes come out today.
Yeah, that's what it says on my report anyway, that those minutes should come out. And those usually come out, early to mid-afternoon, about 2 o'clock.
And that's going to be kind of interesting, because it's going to find out, Oh, okay. Everybody agreed with Paulson, or he pretty much got roasted when the governors all got together face to face by a few of them. We don't know whether it's a universal, unanimous agreement or whether it was a one-man show when they did that interest rate cut. It'll be kind of interesting to see what the decision makers were thinking.
It will be. Like I said, I think that's going to be interesting to watch what the market reaction is as that report is released. The other thing that I did see is the mortgage application rate came out and it dropped by 18% from the week before. So obviously the coronavirus is having some impact on real estate, home buying, and the mortgage application process.
Even with the lower rates, they don't want to do the refinance by remote control even in times like this, huh?
Well, again, one of the things you have to remember is actually because they got so inundated there for a while, they actually bumped mortgage rates up because they were getting so slammed with applications that the refi market, they actually went up and it wasn't as low as it had been before.
That's right. There was an uptick in the mortgage rate a little while ago as well. Still darn low, but not at the rock bottom rates we had. The other macro information that's going to come out that kind of has me really nervous as to what it's going to do to the market is tomorrow we get the first-time unemployment claims. Again, like we were saying, when the official rate came out at the beginning of the month, that was an early month, basically mid-month to mid-month number, and didn't really include the monster layoffs that we're experiencing now. Does anybody have a guess, market expectation or anything for what we could see tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I do finally have the place I go for my numbers. They do finally have an estimate hit here. And the estimate is right at 4.9 million. It's just a tad less than 4.9 million first time claims tomorrow.
That sounds kind of conservative given the fact that we bumped up to 6 last week.
Yeah, and that places like Florida had such a mess up in the whole process of people getting unemployment that I think that could roll over to the following week too.
That's the other side of it. I mean, DeSantis just announced the other day that they were bringing on a ton of new server capacity so people could go online. We still got people trying to file for unemployment from 3 weeks ago.
Exactly. And so I think that could be, that may be an unknown factor in here as to what that looks like. The other thing, we do have a couple other things coming out tomorrow, Dave. The PPI comes out tomorrow. Producer Price Index comes out tomorrow.
That could be kind of interesting to watch too, to see what it was doing last quarter.
Yeah, it will be something to kind of keep an eye on.
So we got a bunch of things that could be dancing along the edge of a cliff. I mean, if it ends up being a pleasant surprise, and gosh, if anything under 4.5 million new unemployed people could possibly be a pleasant surprise, I don't know. But nevertheless, if we have positive expectations off of it, could help. Otherwise, if we have what our worst case scenario is in a 10 million person unemployment claim week, we may have a real rocky next 48 hours on the markets.
Yeah, I mean, if that's any indication of what the expectation is, and it misses as bad as it did last week, I got to think that's got to have a significant impact on the markets tomorrow.
I got to believe it. Only one report of any great value either one of us have seen this morning, and how are jeans selling as far as quarterly reports from the companies go?
So we got Levi Strauss coming out, and they came in at 40 cents a share earnings, which is 5 cents ahead of estimates. Their revenue also beat forecasts last quarter. They obviously warned of the economic impact from the coronavirus outbreak would be material going forward, and then obviously they're not going to give us any guidance. Matter of fact, they're withdrawing their 2020 guidance at this point. So, but they got a good bump yesterday, Dave. They were up almost 10% yesterday, and right now, before the market closes, they're up another 4.2%.
No, that ain't bad. Going against the grain of yesterday, and then following a little bit of a rise this morning. Another bit of business news that I heard: Amazon announced that they were going to drop for a little while, put on hold to be their proper term, their delivery service, competing with FedEx and UPS. And among the beneficiaries this morning is FedEx. They're up like 6.5% in pre-market trading, taking Amazon out of the competitive picture for even a couple of months. Helps the other shipping services.
Yeah, it will. That will definitely give those guys a boost. Now, from what I understand, I think I saw that they're not going to suspend it until June 1st. Is that what I saw?
I think that was what I thought it was in May they were going to suspend it, but nevertheless, it's takes some competitive tigers out of the jungle for FedEx and UPS, which hurts nobody's feelings a bit in their boardrooms. I got to believe.
Oh, absolutely not. So let's look at ahead. We've got Delta Airlines is supposed to report sometime today, and then tomorrow, not much tomorrow. WD-40. That's about it tomorrow.
Hey, lubrication. As long as it slides upward, I'm happy. And for anybody who watches the earnings season, I think you mentioned to me that we're going to see a bunch of the financials reporting early to midweek next week, right?
I think so. I did see a couple of the banks that were showing that they were going to do some reporting, and it may be some. Yeah, J.P. Morgan comes out on Tuesday. First Republican comes out. J.B. Hunt comes out. That one's probably going to be interesting to see how that's doing. Wells Fargo. So, yeah, the banking industry is going to start pouring in next week.
Interesting to see whether or not they have any guidance idea whatsoever in the financial industry. Setting the table for the morning once again, we mentioned it started out just all kinds of hearts and roses yesterday, but boy, did it drop like a rock. The Dow ended up only down by 26 points. NASDAQ down by 25, and Standard & Poor's down by 4.25. If it hadn't included a 900-odd point drop in the middle of the day, we'd say it was a nothing day yesterday. But boy, what a move during the day.
You're right. I'm sorry. I was just going to say you're right. I mean, it doesn't sound bad, does it? Until you remember back when you and I were talking yesterday morning, and I said we were going to be up 900 points at the open.
Exactly, which kind of takes our reading on the futures kind of well, we might as well do it, but it may not mean anything. What are we doing 45 minutes early, Phillip?
Hey, we are back to being green today, Dave, which you're right, doesn't mean anything, as we saw yesterday. But the Dow's up 1.2%, $268. S&P 500 is up 1.2 at 31, and the NASDAQ's up 1.25 at $99. So everything's green again right now. We look back to gold and silver. Silver's down about 0.5%. Gold's flat right now. Now, crude oil took a bath yesterday. It was down some almost 10, maybe a little over 10% yesterday. Mm-hmm. It is bouncing back this morning, up 1.3% to $24 a barrel.
Which pretty much gets us in about the same range we were yesterday morning, just it was a sleigh ride yesterday.
Exactly. You know, that's, so we'll see whether it bumps back up to that range again.
Lordy, take the Dramamine. Overseas markets are about as confused as we are. Asian markets mixed this morning at their early morning close our time. 2 points up on the Japanese markets. Hong Kong off by about 1%. European markets are trading modestly down midway through their day today. Phillip, this is just one of those times where stability counts for a lot. Statler Financial Services, I know, is there for me. How do I make contact with you and get an appointment?
Hey, David, give us a call at 863-382-0037. Hey, it's a chance, just a 10 or 15, 20-minute phone call just to see if you're on track and to see if maybe you should be making changes in your portfolio that's not being done for you. So great opportunity there. Follow us on Facebook, Statler Financial Services, where we post a lot of good information there. And then let me just tease our radio show this weekend. Big time, we have a guest speaker with us from Johns Hopkins Hospital and University Medical Center, and she's going to give us kind of a little bit of an update on what she thinks the coronavirus looks like going forward. So that's at 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on News Talk 730 a.m.
And from Johns Hopkins, you can't get too much more authoritative than that, so I'm looking forward to it, Phillip. Thank you so much.
All right, man, you have a great day, and I will talk to you again tomorrow.
Gotcha. Tomorrow morning here on Light FM. That's Phillip Statler from Statler Financial Services and Light FM.
Remember that first paycheck when you start?
Hey, folks, again, let me remind you about our upcoming radio show this Saturday, 6 a.m. and noon, and then 10 a.m. Sunday mornings on News Talk 730. Hey, if you're not in the local listening area, you can always catch it online. It goes to you can go to newstalk730am.com and listen to it there. If you do not have, if you're not in a local listening area, you don't have the radio, catch it on your phone, catch it on your website. But again, it's newstalk730am.com. So if you're not in the listening area, tune in this Saturday, 6 a.m. and noon on Saturday, 10 a.m. on Sunday mornings, where we will have a doctor from Johns Hopkins University Medical Center on our program this weekend. Hey, looking forward to it, guys. I hope you're having a great day, and I look forward to speaking to you again tomorrow.